Let me get this straight across to my guests on the show and understand from them what they think about the criticism that's coming her way, as well as the impact that it's going to have on India. I'm joined by Mr. Vibhuti Jha, former Republican candidate for New York Assembly. I'm also joined by Mr. Pathikrit Pain, geopolitical analyst. Good evening, namaskar to both of you. Good to have you back on Global Mirror. Mr. Vibhuti Jha, let me begin with you. It's great news that a woman has been chosen as the U.S. Intel chief, something that Donald Trump had been criticized for. He's been called a misogynist. He's been called anti-woman. But after Susie Wiles, it is Tulsi Gabbard who is now going to become, a part of Trump Team 2.0. But how do you see this? How do you see the criticism that's coming her way? Democrats saying that she lacks the experience that is needed by a person who's going to be overseeing 18 spy agencies.
Thank you, Shreyaji, for having me here. And good to see Pathikrit, whom I've just recently met. So glad to be with you here, Pathikrit, as well. Listen, this is a classic example of how Mr. Trump breaks through as a Renaissance man in doing things despite the accusation on him of hating women or whatever else is there. So he's proved it again by choosing Tulsi Gabbard to head the DNI, who was until lately a Democrat. And those of you who have not read her book, Why I Left the Democratic Party, I read the book page by page. You will understand how the Democratic Party operates. But having said that, let me add here something very important. The word experience is remarkably overrated. If Tulsi Gabbard, who joined the military to fight against after 9/11, and she's on record saying that she volunteered to be in the force. She has done several tours. She's today lieutenant colonel in the army. She's doing a very special assignment right now, and she has been a congresswoman, a presidential candidate, all right? And she has successfully fought against the military-industrial complex. So she's a truth teller, bold lady who doesn't fight shy from confronting truth. That's the kind of people we need in the political leadership of the country. And when Democratic Party talks about experience, let me just ask, what experience did Kamala Harris have to be the president of the United States? That's nothing. That's what is important. And experience does get overrated. Talent, ability, skills, these all become part of your experience tool. So you can be very aged, like me, have no experience of anything, but a success or a failure depending on how I address the role in my leadership capacity. Why this role is very important? She joined the military to fight the atrocities of terror. 9/11 that happened was a classic example where, despite having, as you rightly mentioned, many intelligence agencies, US intelligence failed to connect the dots. That connecting the dot is not my word. It's a statement made by many people that US intelligence failed to connect the dot. DNI was set up in 2004 to prevent terror and reform intelligence. Now, who else can be more qualified and experienced who has actually handled the whole thing on a first-hand basis? And here is the critical element. If there is any agreement between Mr. Trump and Mr. Modi, and Tulsi is part of that, they agree that international terrorism, whether coming from a religion specific or any act of violence, and I'll be very clear about that. Both of them are very clear on Islamic terrorism that has infested the world today, who use violence as a tool of negotiation.
Yeah.
If there is one person who is capable to fight, it's Tulsi.
In fact, Mr. Jha, she has made some important statements regarding Kashmir, regarding the kind of minority attacks that Bangladesh has witnessed.